Hi folks. Hope you're doing well. I've just been speaking to God and I realised probably I should be doing this on video. Now whether that's going to work now, I do not know. I was speaking absolutely beautifully when I was speaking to God with no oopsie daisies, with words I could sort of see but I couldn't say. The brain was working perfectly, so how it's going to do it now, I do not know. Time will tell, very much so. Father, lead and guide, I pray. Lead me, please. Well, men, put it this way. Yeah, we're doing this measure of a man, I think it's called. It's my turn to present next time. I'm just speaking to God about the things that is on my heart about that. And there's a number of things. I mean, it's certainly a case where identity is incredibly important. Yeah, knowing who you are. Because knowing who you are and knowing where you are. Because, well, for example, for so long, I've gone to churches, and when you first go into church, my God, don't the people speak up their churches? My God, don't they? I mean, if they really believe what they say, they should be in some mental hospital because they've got delusions, massive delusions. But that's what people do. They speak up their church. And the problem is a lot of people speak up their lives as well. They fully believe that they're in a far, far better place than what they're in. Part of the reason is because it's difficult to really admit where you are. Especially if you are far, far away from where you want to be. It's very difficult to acknowledge that and admit that. I get that. Yeah, I really do. I'm not having to go at people for being in that situation. I'm simply saying if you don't know where you are, then it's very, very difficult. Well, for example, when I've got to find an address, SatNav I find is absolutely useful. I've got Garmin. I haven't got TomTom, I've got Garmin. And it's absolutely useless. If you try putting a postcode, 9 times out of 10, it can't find it. It just can't find the postcode. I mean, how useless is it? That's its bloody job. That's its job, and it's useless at it. You put in the name of a road, the number of the road, number of the house, and the name of the road. It can't find it. Ridiculous. So I have to go on my phone and go on Google and put my postcode to the postcode I'm going to. No problem. Google Maps finds that and directs me. But if I don't know where I am, I can't get directions, can I? It's very, very hard to find where you're supposed to be going to if you don't know where you are. So knowing where you are and knowing who you are is incredibly important. And it's an incredibly important thing for men and women, not just men, but men and women, to understand. To be realistic about who you are and where you are. Who you are isn't based upon the same. This is where it's tricky. Where you are is based upon reality. Where are you? In your relationship with God. Where are you right now? That's important to understand. If you're not doing great, okay, you're not doing great. No worries, you're not doing great, fine. But once you know that, you can look up. That's fine. Who you are is a very different thing. Because where you are is based upon reality. Who you are is only based upon God's reality, not yours. But even to a certain degree, where you are is based upon God's reality, because God sees a bigger picture, you don't. But you have to start off by looking at your picture and then understanding that he sees a bigger picture, and the way he sees it, he can then tell you how he sees it from his point of view. That if he sees that you're in the right place for you right now, then okay. Even if you see you've got a long way to go, that's okay. If God says you're where you're supposed to be, that's okay. Because if you've got, say for example, if I'm travelling from Scotland to Minneapolis, I've got a long way to go. I'm not going to be able to drive there. I'm going to have to fly there part of the way, aren't I? And it's going to be quite a journey. The thing of it is that we're not in the 17th century or 18th century. We're now in the whatever century we're in now. Whatever that is. whatever century we're in, that's I don't know. I'm not going to try and say it's that basically it's 2022. So is it the 21st century we're in? Yeah. Okay. But that means that we can get from A to B a damn sight quicker now. So if we were in the 17th century, that journey would take weeks, if not months, to get to. So that would be a long, arduous... I'd be looking at that thinking, oh, bloody hell, I've got to go that far? Really? I've still got that far to go? Oh, for goodness sake. Whereas now, okay, that can be done in about, 6-7 hours? Yeah, at best. At worst, a day. I can do that? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's okay. That's doable, yeah. And so that's a whole different situation, isn't it? Where you're looking at from where you are now. So reality, that can change based upon your viewpoint. If your viewpoint is the 1700s, then reality is pretty bad at going from Scotland to Minneapolis. Because did Minneapolis actually exist then? The land did. The name of the state probably didn't. Or is that a state? I don't know. I don't care, to be honest. I'm using it as an example. If the example is right, I don't care. It's an example. It doesn't have to be spot on, so that's fine. But that's the point. If it's 1700s, that looks pretty bleak. If you're looking at it from the 21st century, that's a different thing completely. Everything changed from your viewpoint. And, so with God's help, your viewpoint can change. You can see things from his viewpoint. And that means that you can get from A to B a damn sight quicker than as you see it from your viewpoint. So that's cool. Who you are is based around how God sees you, not how the world sees you, and not upon any form of reality whatsoever. Not really. No, because our reality of who we are is based around the fact that we are now a new creation. The old man has died. We are now a new creation. So we're not who we were born as. That's not who we are. That's who we're still seen as by a lot of people, but that's not who we are. So who we are is something completely different. And the problem is the world is now telling, certainly men, that they are weak, that they're pathetic, and that masculinity is toxic, so they've got to be more feminine now. And, weakness and, all of that is all part of it. So showing any strength, showing any, is like, no, you can't do that. Oh, no. That's what society's telling men now. So a lot of men in church believe that that's who they are. It never has been, it never will be who you are, but okay. That may be how you're acting, but that's not who you are. That's how you're living it out, your life, but that's not who you are. And so we have to understand who we are. We have to understand where we are. And then we might be able to reach that destination. We want to see changes. We want to see huge changes. Not only in our lives, but also in our church, and etc., etc., etc. To get that, that's where understanding where you are and who you are comes into it. Because these changes are going to take faith. These changes are going to take you changing. But if you think you're already there, then the problem is you're not likely to be willing to change, are you? But when you know you're not, then you're more likely to be willing to change because you know that you've got a journey to go on. And, okay. Especially when you realise that you're a son, that you're not a Christ in, that you're a son. And because you're a son, that changes your whole view of who you are and where you should be. And when you understand that, you then understand that where you should be is not where you are. So you need to change where you are. When you understand that and you're willing to do that because you understand who you are, then you're happy enough for God to do whatever is necessary to get you from A to B and to get your church from A to B. To change you in that church. Well, for me, for example, if God said to me yesterday that I've got to love these people in this church before they will listen to me or accept me enough to listen to me, okay. Would I rather that things could be done sooner? Yeah, because I've got stuff that I know to be true that I would love to share with these people, but at the moment I can't. Because they won't accept it. I know they won't accept it. And so there's no point me trying to share that with them because they're not at the position yet where they'll be able to accept that. And so, okay. But they certainly wouldn't believe me right now. So with that being the case, okay, Father, right. Yeah, I fully understand because as I said last night, if what I say comes from frustration or anger and they can sense that, then that's gonna get in the way very quickly. Because people don't need a lot of excuses at all to basically deny whatever you're saying and not receive it. That's the way. The devil is going to use anything he can in what you're saying or the way you're saying it to destroy your message in people. And so that's why I'm saying, okay, what I feel that God is saying to me, is that I need to be led to say just what he's telling me to say. And I need to love the people so that what I'm saying is coming across completely in love, not in any form of judgment, not in any form of frustration or spiritual anger or any of that at all. Because it needs to come across. Basically, it's not what I say that matters. It's how they need to hear it. It's what they need to hear. That's the thing. It needs to be put across in the way that they need to hear it so that they can receive it. And because I understand that and because I have something that I believe is that important that these people need to receive, then I have to say, okay, Father, if you need to do this work in me to get me to that position, then okay. Do whatever is necessary to get me into that position so that they can receive, because this is something they really do need to receive. And so, well, as the real Abba was saying, are they worth it? Yeah. Well, is he worth it? Because that's the point. If what you're doing is you're pointing to Father, you're going to say, is he worth it? And the answer is all the time, yes. Of course. For him, I'd go through anything. Yes. And that's the point now. Just over a year ago, I wouldn't. Because I didn't believe that God loved me. I didn't believe I was worthy of love. I didn't love myself. I didn't love God because I didn't know. Yet now things are so different. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. We have an amazing God. That's a certainty. And if people just knew how much God loved them. But that's a job. Help people to know that, isn't it? Really. So there you go. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Have a fantastic rest of the week and have a glorious weekend that's coming up. So any comments? Go for it. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.